Fisk is gonna kill the governor.
That's what Charles suggested. Very strongly.
You believe him? This guy was working with Fisk until about a minute ago.
I don't believe a word that asshole says, but in this case,
Yeah.
it does track.
She's the only one who can revoke the free porch charter. Fisk puts one of his puppets in the governor's office. New York is his.
And we're on another rooftop.
Yeah, I'm meeting a friend. Jessica Cherry.
Hey, big fan of your work.
Go on.
And?
Karen's at the 15th precinct.
Nice.
Now,
Thank you.
hold on there, cowboy. They booked her legit. Prince, photo, phone call, the works. They're fast-tracking her to vigilante court. You go in there and bust her out, you are the criminal he says you are.
She's not safe there.
If he was gonna hurt her, he'd have done it already. Look, I'm told he went to the precinct, they talked, he left.
Fisk? Son of a bitch. He's making it legal. We have anybody at the 15th?
We do. Well, Matt, I'm all over this. And you sticking around?
I haven't decided yet.
City needs you.
I've heard that before.
Me too.
Nice to meet you, Cherry.
You too.
Hey, panelers, welcome back to the show. I'm Mark.
And I'm Steve.
And it sounds like I'm on a downer now. Well, this episode was a bit of a downer.
There's, it was the second time. I'm gonna have to admit, like after I've only got to watch it twice.
Same here.
And I just watched it for the second time like 30 minutes ago. And so I want to say I like the episode. It's that ending scene. We'll talk about it a little bit. The scene in the parking structure is a little chaotic.
Oh yeah.
But I had some, like, there was a moment after the first watch earlier this week where I couldn't remember if we actually saw Daniel,
Well, we're going to say it flat out, everybody. Listeners,
it's a spoiler.
It's a spoiler-full podcast.
So hopefully
Daredevil Born Again, Season 2, Episode 7, The Hateful Darkness.
Yeah, so, and the synopsis for this one is: a trial close to Matt Murdock's heart grabs the city's attention.
Yes, and there was a few setups with certain moments with characters within it that you could predict something was going to come. The one thing I didn't get was what you were saying earlier with about Daniel and that situation. I was not seeing that at all.
I didn't see that coming. Yeah, I totally expected him to at least live until the last episode or at least go further into the series. I did not see them taking his character out the way they did. And like I started to say before we reminded people this is a spoiler, is after the first watch, like I couldn't remember if we got a clear shot of Buck shooting him in the head. And then as I watched it the second time just a little while ago, I was like, oh no, it's very clear.
It's very clear.
I mean, maybe he could have shot like next to his head, maybe, but the way he walks out and the way that the shot and that's not really, this show hasn't done that kind of a misdirect to us before. So I expect that Daniel is dead.
Yes. A lot of the people who've already covered this already have confirmed that, yes, he is. And it was, what was it? Michael Gandolfini's last episode. So,
okay. So, yeah, so it's just unfortunate because he was a great actor, and that scene. In fact, I'll just jump to it. It's actually my last note, but I'll jump right to it. That scene between him and Buck and him and BB is so good.
It's so intense, especially like the setup with him and BB when he talks to her, and he's literally texting Buck at the same time about going to a safe house. And then he said that he goes, you're setting me up. I don't know who to trust. I don't know who. And meanwhile, at the very end, he's misleading BB. But by the time he takes her to this quote unquote safe house,
he changed his mind.
he changes his mind, and she gets it because she realizes this is not a safe house. You're gonna, and then she starts freaking out, and then his conscience gets the better of him of doing the right thing, and then lets her go and hands her her phone, and then that's when he has to go to see Buck about it, and I think she has a birthday party to go to or something. No, well,
I think it was a lie. I think that was all. I think it was all.
Yeah, well, that's what.
That's what he tells. That's what he tells Buck. But I think, the whole point was that he was supposed to bring her there. He didn't bring her there. And so and then he tells her, go and don't tell me where you're going, because he knew that
he was going to get it out of him. Yeah.
Yeah. So he said, don't tell me where you're going. And eventually, so he just has to tell Buck, I don't know where she is. And so Buck has to finally believe him after beating him up pretty brutally. Yeah.
He really pummeled the hell out of Daniel. Yeah. Within that scene. And you could see, this is a good credit to Michael Gandolfini as Daniel at the very end. And I have it here in my notes at the very end about how he gets through to Buck at one point. He basically stands up to Buck and says, and he knows that he's going to beat the life out of him or try to get the truth out of him, and basically telling Buck that it will be him sometime soon, that with a gun at his head. And that's what really gets to Buck, because he even said this is Hellman's at this point.
This isn't Hellman. Yeah, he says you're not in Afghanistan now. You're doing Kingpin's bidding. It's not for country or patriotism, or you can't hide behind, this is orders from your army, because he was in the
Queen is not giving you the orders for your army.
This is now you, and eventually you're going to be the one on the floor, which whoosh.
Those words right there, and you could see the way it really got to Buck even during the conversation, but even after he shoots him and how he looks back at the body of Daniel, you can tell that he regretted it in a sense, because he didn't want to do it, but how it in his face and the acting of the facial expression from, I believe it's Artie Frushan, and who plays Buck, the way he looks at Daniel's body of like, it got to him, and he knows that it's going to come his way too. He could be the other end of a big, huge, crushing bear hug from Kingpin himself. And that's a possibility.
Yeah. It's you just never know at this point. So I mean, I kind of hate jumping straight to the end, but it is the biggest thing of the episode.
It was the biggest thing, and it was all over the internet. I kind of got spoiled on it, but I kind of forgot about it. Because I was reading something, and then another group of friends that I knew, and they said it, and I was like, but I kind of forgot it by the time I actually watched the episode.
Oh, gotcha. See, I try to watch it pretty quick. I mean, the way I get the episode is usually probably Wednesday morning before I'm actually able to watch it. So I'm able to kind of stay away from those kind of spoilers, so I did not see it coming at all. I really, like I said at the beginning, I really thought he was going to survive at least to the end of the season, or even go forward into other seasons of the show, but unfortunately, no. So hate to start with a downer there, but man, So okay, kind of walking this back now to start over.
The way it starts off the episode is kind of like you already have that feeling of darkness revolving around us because of the trial. We see Karen; she's getting processed through the 15th precinct in New York City. She's getting strip search, and then through that, but even before that, you see Matt looking over the city in a Daredevil costume. Fisk getting ready and dressed as he always is during the song "It Ain't Easy" by David Bowie playing in the background. And this goes right into everything of what's going on with Karen, because the actual episode is focused more around the trial of Karen Page for the most part.
Yeah, it's great to see us go back to that. I mean, we kind of talked about this in one of the previous episodes that we recorded. We talked about how of it going back to the courtroom drama kind of thing. That's what this was. This is we're used to seeing Matt in the courtroom, and I absolutely love that moment when he walks in and says that, Matt Murdock for the defense, Your Honors. It's just or Matthew. I guess he calls himself Matthew. So
yeah, but we get that cool reveal. But that was the conversation because Belle goes and gets Karen out for a little bit, and Matt's outside the precinct, and he did his he was able to get her out so they could reconnect. You could see all is pretty much forgiven, but she doesn't want him to expose himself. The first thing I thought was what? He's going to come out and say I'm Daredevil and whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking at first, was that it was going to be something about he's going to reveal his identity or something, but not. But as soon as he bursts in the courtroom, now it all makes sense.
Yeah, because he's been missing, and that was the biggest thing that's been going on.
Right.
And
I remember a couple episodes ago we had. Yeah, but a couple episodes ago we had Kingpin saying, well, we're gonna search for Matt Murdock, and we did because we think he survived, and that whole scene between Pal and Kingpin where he tells him, well, I'll bring you Matthew Murdock in this office, and Daredevil's head on a spike or a pike, and Kingpin, knowing they're the same person, has that kind of remark, well, either one will be fine, kind of thing. So
exactly.
Yeah, it was just that reveal of him coming into the courtroom and then the cross-examination of the two different of Pal and the other guy from the firefight, Christian, and him is just
how
great.
He got burned, and the conversation, the defense attorney's conversation about, well, why were you there? Well, we were there for a wellness check. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Do you normally bring assault weapons in for
I've got the quote. Yeah, I've got the quote here. Yeah. She says welfare check with assault rifles and MRAP personnel carriers. I don't know. Seems like a lot of hardware for a blind lawyer. So, and you can hear the courtroom kind of chuckle at that, as she's making.
And Matt's
these comments.
there too, by the way, everybody.
Yeah, it was just a great moment, and we'll have to see when the verdict comes in next episode to see how that turns out. But yeah, the courtroom, going back to a courtroom scene was great. As brief as it was, it did, it took up a lot of the episode, but it was really, there was a lot happened, like you said, that's setting up for the final episode of the season next week.
Especially the assassination attempt in the parking lot, because after the actual day had ended for the trial for that day, the defense attorney, Matt goes, oh, the AVTF's not leaving, are they? She goes, no. And something's going to happen, but they do find them and follow them into the parking garage. And it's a blatant, they're
they
ready
really
to
just
kill
tried
them.
to kill him. Yeah, and we don't know if Cherry survived. We know Matt took a bullet.
Dinged up. Yep.
Yeah, it looks like he took a bullet to the leg or something. We don't know what happened to Cherry. The final scene we see, that was another thing that I had forgotten about until my second watch, was I couldn't remember if they revealed Jessica Jones coming into the church. I mean, we knew, because if we watched the trailers, we knew there was going to be a scene where she's going to say something to him about, I hope you can walk out of here because I'm not carrying you, or something like that. And we hadn't seen that scene yet.
No.
Now I know they do sometimes put scenes in trailers that then they don't use in the shows or the movies. So it happens, but I suspect we're going to get that conversation in the next episode. But we do get to see totally that she has come back. When we get to see her at the very beginning of the episode. She meets Cherry there on the rooftop. They meet for the first time. Cherry looks much better than the last time we saw him.
Yes,
in his hospital bed. So obviously he has recovered and was able to stay hidden. So I thought that was great. And his line to Jessica Jones about the city needs you, and her being like, whatever, I'm just here. I was just here to get Mr. Charles on my back, which I don't want us to not mention that we get a mention of Luke Cage here.
Yes. Actually, she goes there to Mr. Charles saying, she basically threatens him, but he gets a little bit witty at there. He goes, well, your powers aren't what they used to be from what I'm told. So meanwhile, it's like the threat from her is not as good. But then but he also then talks about
that he can connect her with Luke.
Her with Luke, who is apparently overseas doing the Lord's work, according to him, quote unquote.
Doing something, doing obviously something for either him or, as we talked about, Val, or we don't know if he's part of this other organization. We don't know.
Yes.
So it's gonna be interesting to see going into the third season what we get of Luke Cage possibly coming back. So
I think this is a setup for us to get probably Luke, Jessica, and Matt at least together.
I would hope at some point, whether it's next season, or what.
Yeah, because I think a lot of these shows are priding on what really brings everybody together to watch these shows, and brings it together with these characters. Plus, it's going to be long after Punisher comes back with his Spotlight show that's going to be on Disney Plus, and then he's going to be in Brand New Day.
Exactly.
So then he's going to be in the process of being more active. So we're going to get more Johnny Bernthal in this, and I'm really looking forward to that. But I would also like to see him get more involved with it as well.
Yeah,
but they I love that scene altogether, because Matthew Lillard kind of looked scared really at a certain point, but then he came snippy with the whole their powers aren't exactly what they were.
But that's the thing, is we know that her powers are kind of on the fritz, but that doesn't mean that she can't still break him, I think he's got to be careful with his words, because she can still hurt him. We've seen that sometimes her powers go away, but they come back, so so I'm interested.
Good.
I'm interested to see how they're going to play that part out, how they're going to resolve that, or if we're going to get a resolution for that before the next season. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, there was other key scenes within this episode. It was nice to see Matt and Karen come together at that point, but we get Dr. Glenn come in. Yeah, and regarding that, she actually has a meeting with Fisk, and they have that little earring that's there.
Yeah, he gives her the other earring. She stole the one last week, and then I guess he gave her, which I was confused about that the first time I watched it, and then after I watched it the second time, I was like, oh, okay, so he's giving her the other earring so that she can have both, have a full set, which I thought was interesting. So we'll have to see how that relationship goes forward. But I had totally forgotten that when she goes in to meet Karen, she smacks her around.
Karen gets under her skin. Not only does Dr. Glenn get under Karen's skin, but Karen at the very end gets the upper hand and utilizing certain things against Dr. Glenn to get under her skin, and then she's laughing at it too, Karen, at this point. It's like, we know what's going to happen. It's basically trying to break them down. And that's what's happening throughout the episode. In the very beginning, we get even Poindexter with Matt hidden away, and Matt saying flat out, I don't trust you. I can't forgive you for what you've done to Foggy, the priest.
Right. But I can't kill you. I can't forgive you, but I can't kill you either. And so then I love that moment of, we don't know exactly what Matt is going to have him do until we see the governor get attacked. And then we see that Bullseye is the one who is there to protect the governor, and kill the guys that are sent to assassinate her, which was that scene was interesting because they got there a little too late, because she's already called the attorney general and already told him, hey, start the paperwork to suspend
Fisk. Yep.
So it was at that point, I don't know if it would have been too late, or maybe if she did get killed, if she was assassinated, if that would then stop the process. I don't know. But anyway, because we did see the police cars arriving in the background as Bullseye is walking away. And so we'll have to see if we get any more Bullseye or not in the next episode. I don't know.
There were really key scenes, and then the acting was done very well. Definitely with Michael Gandolfini and the actress who plays BB. And when he, that whole conversation in his house in Staten Island, and then they wind up going to the not real safe house. Definitely Buck and I would say Daniel at that point. The courtroom case was great, but the fight scene in the parking garage, that was very thorough and
very chaotic, though. It took me I'm going to admit, even in the second watch, I'm still not entirely sure what exactly happened. And we know we see Matt throws something and makes one of the cars go off and smash into the wall. We don't see what happens to Kristen McDuffie. We don't see what happens to Cherry. All we know is we see Matt then at the very end at the church, and he's praying to St. Jude, which is always interesting that when TV shows and movies bring up St. Jude, because it seems like they get a different, there comes a different take, and you're Catholic, so you probably know more about it than I do, but I've always heard St. Jude being the patron saint of the lost cause, or if you watch the movie The Untouchables, that he's the patron saint of police officers because he's the patron saint of the lost cause. And here we have Matt saying he's the patron saint of the unwinnable case. And so I'm like, well, I guess that all kind of fits together with the whole
it. Yeah.
So it's just interesting that movies and TV shows kind of take a different look on that, the St. Jude. So what he's the patron
we got
saint of.
Powell on trial too. He's there, and he's kind of grilled at a certain point as well. So it seems like he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, no, he's sticking around. I love that he's the one that answers all the questions about what's the task for. It was interesting to see Matt was the one who questioned Powell, and then Kristen questions the other guy. So it was interesting how they paired off in those ways. But yeah, it was an interesting thing when he's talking about the task force and what their what their rules of engagement are, and what their who set him up and who gave him the directions and stuff, all that, saying all of that, bringing it all back to Fisk. And that's what prompts the governor to go, okay, now I can see that Fisk has been the one who's been directing these attacks on the public, attacks on these innocent people. So it gives her the ammunition sort of to then go after Fisk. So we'll have to see how that plays out in the last episode. What happens with Fisk being suspended as mayor? Is he going to just then go back to being the kingpin, or what's? Yeah, I mean, obviously he's going to stick around for a while because he's the bad guy. You can't kill off the bad guy necessarily.
That is true. The little bit of takeaway that I got from the Karen and Dr. Glenn just to go back to it a little, the conversation starts off where she tries to psychologically analyze Karen, and then Karen turning around saying, but let's talk about something else. Let's talk about me. I am sleeping next to a man that is not really there for me, but it has two different sides to himself. Not really pointing that Matt is Daredevil or anything, but just hiding a lot.
Yeah, and then she says,
yeah.
It's interesting because she knows that there's a history between Matt Murdock and Dr. Glenn.
Yeah, Dr. Glenn, yeah.
So she's aware of that. She goes, well, Matt must have really hurt your heart.
Glenn. Yeah. At the end, those are the words. It's like, Matt, you're upset about Matt and the way he left you, and that's really what took, because, and then she said, and how he could be unpredictable, and that's so hot. And then just by pointing it in her face to Dr. Glenn that you had an opportunity with Matt, but now you don't. I'm with him now. So that's really what it put the test through. But Dr. Glenn really didn't pull any punches with Karen with her history, bringing up her father and abuse, her brother, killing her brother, and using fratricide, which is when you kill a sibling, and of course Wesley, of killing Wesley and bringing that up, and that's what really gets to Karen. So that
what really gets to Karen is when she brings up Frank Castle. That's what it was. Yeah. When she mentions Frank Castle, that's what gets under, and that's what Dr. Glenn noticed. Oh, now I found the trigger. It's the Punisher. He's the one who makes that she makes that connection, of course. So yeah, it's again, it's going to be interesting to see what the result of the trial of the tribunal is. I mean, obviously they're going to find her guilty. I would be very surprised if they don't. I guess it's going to depend on what happens with Fisk and the task force stuff. This last episode is going to be really, really great. It's going to be interesting to see how they again, how they wrap up this season and then move us into season 3 that we know is being filmed now, is in production. So hopefully we'll get it next year, pretty early in the year. Hopefully we'll get it as early as we got this season, you know?
Yeah. Oddly enough, funny too, because usually with Daredevil, it starts filming towards the end of winter, like going into spring. So when they come out of spring, it's a little bit warmer. They started a little late. They started in, I'm going to say, late March. And I don't know if they wrapped up. Right. So there's I see a lot of stuff on Instagram. A lot of people have stuff on, that they post through, and Marvel actually does post some of that stuff too, by the way, everybody. So if you're part of that whole Instagram thing, they do it as well, Disney Marvel. So I could see the locations that they're at too, because I lived in New York all my life, and I'm like, oh, okay, I know where that's going. I was like, well, I can piece it when it comes out by then if I do remember. But we had a couple of good quotes in there too. You already mentioned it too. Now that we're coming down towards the end of it, Cherry saying, the city needs you too, Jessica. And she goes, oh, I've heard that before. And then, of course, but Jessica uses it on Matt when she leaves too, saying, don't get dead or don't die. The city needs you. And using Cherry's words. And then I only have one other quote that I really didn't squeeze in there. Fisk to Dr. Glenn regarding how he is currently after Vanessa's death. And he says, I always expected love to be a prison. I never expected to be in it alone. So that's how he sums up how he's feeling currently after Vanessa's death. Interesting. So I don't know if that's going to erupt into a relationship with Dr. Glenn and Fisk.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, we'll have to see. We'll have to see next episode how they wrap up the season. So
yeah. But other than that, that's all I had regarding with the episode. It was definitely well written, done very well. I'm glad, we got some really, really good dialogue scenes. That to me is like, especially with the trial scenes, it's making She-Hulk look like a comedic trial thing, like it was, but with this, it's feeling more like NCIS and everything else that we see on regular TV. But
pretty good, it's been good. Yeah, that's all I've got for this episode. So that's all what we have to talk about right now on this particular episode of Daredevil Born Again, the Hateful Darkness. So that sums up our thoughts, I believe. Yeah.
All right. So I don't have any additional notes, no other quotes. Comic news, not really much. We've already talked about a lot of this stuff, everybody. So we have a lot to look forward to. But coming up, because we have how many more episodes? This is episode 7.
We got one more.
One more. Yeah. So we'll probably do the next one next week, everybody. But we might take a little bit of break before we get right into doing The Boys. And that way we could take a week off, and then we'll jump in with maybe 2 episodes at a time, just to catch up.
We'll have to see. I'm trying to keep up with the boys. It's getting wild. This week's episode was pretty good. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but obviously they've already watched The Boys as well.
I haven't even watched it yet. It's on my list.
It's this most recent episode was really, really good.
Awesome.
So especially the ending and just the story, the way they did the story this week was pretty cool. Very Reservoir Dogs type of storytelling. So
awesome.
So that's good. Podcast recommendations. If you watch the TV show From is back, and Lizzie and her new co-host Lisa, I think is her name, have started doing their What Is From or WTF From podcast. Podcastica has been putting that out. They put the first couple out. I listened to the first one. I actually haven't finished listening to the first one yet. They have an interview with one of the actors from the show, so that's really cool. But yeah, so I'd say check out Podcastica and the From podcast they have on there. They do a live. I don't know how much feedback they're going to be able to take, because they kind of do a live reaction after the episode airs. So they do that on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then Podcastica publishes it through the podcast network as a audio podcast. So
yeah. I kind of got wind of what was going on with that. So I actually threw my hat into the ring to see if, Lizzie needed any help. I didn't get any callback, but more power to them. Lizzie's got it covered. She's got somebody there to talk to about it. It is a live thing, which is cool. I'm looking forward to it. Other than that, I don't really have anything else for podcast recommendations, but the typical, just go to podcastica.com and just check out all that TV podcast industries as always. And just check out all our other friends out there as well. Well, we did post something. I think I did. I can't remember, or if I did or I didn't.
I know I saw last week's episode is up. You just published last week's episode where we covered episodes 5 and 6. So that's out there for people to download and listen to. And I'm sure this one will be out soon. And if you have any feedback, please feel free to send that to us for any part of Daredevil Born Again, or even The Boys. If you want to talk to us about The Boys, we'll have some sort of conversation about it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we could go right into feedback right now. So if you want to let them know exactly where they could go to find some ways.
Absolutely. You can always find all of our podcast, all the podcast links for all of the podcasts that we do are at piratecoreentertainment.com. And you'll find links for Panels to Pixels podcast and all the other podcasts that are out there on the network, where we can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever your podcast player of choice is. If you can give us a review or a rating, that would be great. We will read that here on the podcast as well.
All right. And as always, you can submit your theories and feedback to our Facebook group, facebook.com/panelstopixels. What's on that is going to be on Instagram, so that can be found at Panels to Pixels Podcast. Go to those ways and just send them in the comments below the image, and when we put one up. We can be found on YouTube. Obviously, you could send feedback that way and comments from previous stuff, and I still get them. Be great. You could email us, a straight email, panelstopixels1@gmail. Panels, 2 is spelled out T-O, pixels and the number 1@gmail.com. You can write out your thoughts. We'll read them the next time. It doesn't have to be for Daredevil Born Again. It could be for anything we've done in the past, or what we're looking to do, or whatever you would like us to cover. If you feel the need that you want to record yourself voice-wise, you can do that. Everybody can do that, and just send it as an attachment. Be as if you're on the podcast itself, and we could comment.
Absolutely. I love that. I send voicemails to various podcasts our friends do as well, and love to hear those played back.
Yep. And that's part of where listeners could hear you too, right?
Yes. Yeah, you can hear me right here on Panels to Pixels podcast, and then I do occasionally guest host on other podcasts, but the biggest thing I do is I try to send voicemails to those shows that I listen to and podcasts that I listen to, so you can hear my voice there.
Awesome. Well, as always, you can hear me here on Panels to Pixels podcast. The Kaiju Cast podcast. This coming week is going to be the last. This is going to be the last episode of the podcast for Monarch Monarch Legacy of Monsters season 2. So we're finishing that up. That's collaborative with Podcastica as well. But Dimitri and myself will probably take a break for a couple of weeks so I could settle in and figure out, get our ideas set forth of what we want to cover, because the Monsterverse is not just in Legendary but in Toho. We're gonna come up with something interesting to discuss, and then to give you guys something to talk about, and then not a little homework but something for you guys to check out, and then we'll talk about it, because Godzilla's got over 40 some odd movies over the course of 72 years. So we got a lot to talk about. You can hear me on Adrenaline Cinema podcast as well as Pirate Core Entertainment podcast when we get something out on that. So as always, all you have to do is just go to piratecoreentertainment.com. Just check out all the links and everything else that's on the Facebook pages. So next episode of the podcast, we'll be covering Daredevil Born Again Season 2, Episode 8. And it's going to be, I hope it's not like a cliffhanger.
We'll see. You know, the fact that they're already filming Season 3, we could have a cliffhanger ending. We'll have to see. I don't know. I'm excited for it, though. And I'm excited for all the stuff we got coming up. Spider-Man Noir, Supergirl, The Boys. There's a whole lot of stuff coming out this summer. Yep. And we're excited about it. So right here on Panels to Pixels podcast.
Yep. And that's about it for this episode of the podcast. And I just want to thank everyone for listening. I'm Mark.
And I'm Steve.
Same podcast, different panel, different pixel. And this is Panels to Pixels podcast. And we'll see you on the next panel. Bye-bye, everybody.
Good night.